Hi there, I'm Kofi Sonopon, managing editor of Airline Profits magazine and author of the book Airlines for Business, which is part of the Airline Profits book series on airline business and technology. If you are one of our regular followers, you know that since the beginning of May 2017, we have started a series of executive interviews featuring airline and aviation top executives. So we have a few more interviews lined up. For instance, today I've had the privilege to talk with Peter Schmid and Manish Shrivastava, and they're both co-founders of Travel Commerce Solutions. And I invite you to stay tuned till the end of this interview to hear what Peter Schmid and Manish Shrivastava have to say. Thank you. So, gentlemen, welcome and thank you for accepting our invitation. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Andreas Wunderli, your VP for America, who made this interview possible. And now, for the sake of introduction, can you tell us briefly who you are and what is your role at Travel Commerce Solutions?
So, my name is Manish Shrivastava. I am the co-founder and commercial executive with Travel Commerce Solutions.
Okay.
I have about up to 17, 18 years of experience in the aviation, in the total of 30 years of experience, where I have also worked in banking, finance, and IT industry.
Okay.
Basically, joined the aviation in the reservation sector, reservation system, and then went on to work with the aviation in the sales and big data projects or analytics and the likes, and the direct connect, for example.
Okay.
Does that help, or you want me to speak some more?
Well, that's fine for now, and I would ask Peter to introduce himself as well, if he doesn't mind.
I don't mind. I'm Peter Schmid. I'm the product executive, so I'm taking care of the product development in Travel Commerce Solutions, as well as solution architectures in context of consulting engagements with clients and IT service providers.
Okay.
I have nearly 3 decades in airline IT, kind of half of which I was more on the airline side in the IT department, the IT subsidiary. At some point I was responsible for the reservation system, end-to-end, from product management to operations and support. Back then we had like 18 airlines using the system spread around the world. So from that experience, I'm quite familiar with the different requirements in the different areas of the world, starting in the Far East and through Middle East to South America. And second half, I would say, of my career was more on the IT service provider side. So I was working for EPS and later HP on the travel and transportation services side, and was involved in apparently many different clients, global clients like Lufthansa, American Airlines, United, besides our core customers here in Europe, Swiss, and nearby SM Brussels Airlines in Belgium.
Okay.
So we have quite different sizes of customers. I think the smallest one was Malmö. Yeah, it was a Swedish carrier, very innovative carrier. I've seen different profiles of airlines and also many different technologies and attempts actually to build new systems, to adopt new technologies.
Okay. Now, with knowing that you both are the co-founders of Travel Commerce Solutions, can you just briefly tell us how that started, how you got the idea and when you started it?
Sure. So in my introduction, what I did not highlight was that I also used to work for Swissair and then subsequently for Lufthansa Group. And me and Peter, we go back to the time when we used to work for Swissair reservation system.
Okay.
And but Peter was responsible for the whole solution, and I was in charge of the distribution part of the product, namely interactions with the global distribution providers and their interfaces and links. And we did some projects together.
Okay.
We moved that apart, so to say, at that point. Even though Peter was still responsible for the solution, I started working for the airline in different departments. And one of the key changes which has been happening in the last few years, at least last 4 years, I've been actively more, is this whole concept of new technology, direct connect, and then IATA came with the concept of NDC actually around the same time. So, do you know what NDC is, or should I explain you a little bit about NDC?
Yeah, I do have a brief understanding of it, but if you want to touch base on that, yes, please go ahead.
So, in layman's term, basically what NDC is trying to achieve is that all what today's airlines manage on their individual websites, like, Delta.com, AmericanAirlines.com, and what they can do versus what capabilities or limited capabilities they have with the travel agent community, which is using, for example, Sabre or Amadeus or Travelport as a GDS.
Yeah.
This gap, the NDC's goal is to bridge this gap. And in order to do so, there are some technological changes which IATA is proposing for the airlines.
Okay.
And one of the key elements there is a concept of offer and order management system. So, if you know today what happens is every airline needs to find their fares, they need to publish their schedules, and then they actually distribute or rather respond to availability requests in real time if they are not using an ABS.
Exactly.
And the idea of IATA is that instead of airlines publishing this separately and the GDS is picking them up and creating an offer, rather that every person would send the request directly to the airline or using one of the big aggregators. So the GDS would convert into aggregators, and they will get the response of the offer, which is including the product and the price, back to the customer.
Okay.
So they would not be adding any value in principle, so to say.
I see.
So that's the concept of IATA's NDC and one order. So why did I talk about it? Because since 4 years, 5 years, this has been going on. And at some point, I was talking to Peter and we were thinking about what's going on in the industry, and we already know the existing system. As Peter said, he has been there for 33 decades.
Yes.
And the systems have not really fundamentally changed.
Exactly.
We have always created one layer on top of the other in order to adapt to the new technology, but the fundamental never really changed. So we thought it's really time that somebody takes a little chance and risk and takes it in the hand to change this.
I see.
So we talked about it, and we are fortunate enough to have family and friends who could support us in the initial part part of the development, and now based on these new concepts, we have built a so-called vanilla version of our product.
Okay. Very
So does it answer your question as what the motivation was and how we came around to build the product?
I see. Now, if you don't mind, I'll move on to the next question then, which is, can you tell us briefly then what type of services or solutions you offer the airlines?
So if you consider in today's parlance or the nomenclature, there is, people call it PSS, Passenger Sales and Services.
Yeah.
Or passenger sales. Now, this particular product or has multiple functionalities which it supports for the airlines. Given IATA's objective of having offers and orders, we believe that our offer and order management system can effectively, to the majority part of that, replace majority of this PSS functionality. Of course, it's in the new way, not in the old way, but that's what effectively it is offering.
Okay.
Does it help? Does it give you clarity on what we are offering?
Yes, I do understand that you have a name for it, which is T-commerce. Is that it? Or
correct. So T-commerce is the name we took because of a couple of things. One is we are in the travel industry, so that's the T.
Yeah.
And we are borrowing concepts from e-commerce, so that's why we say commerce.
Okay, I see.
And at the end, it's all commerce. So yes.
Okay, very good. And to move on, I understood that from your website that one of your value propositions is to help your clients increase their revenues by at least 3 to 15%. And now, given the context that airlines are in right now, where they are pressured from every side, typically to lower their fares, can you share briefly on how you can help a given airline to achieve those kind of targets, because they are very ambitious. 3 to 15% increase in revenues is very ambitious. So can you explain how you achieve that?
Right. So there are a couple of things to understand for that number which you are reading there. Number one, the whole concept of ancillaries is taking on very, very strongly. I mean, you must have also seen on our website that this amount of ancillaries booked in the last year.
Exactly, yeah.
Is now going in the high billions, and we are talking about 10%, up to 10% of the airline revenue actually is coming from ancillary.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Now, so the idea is that today, all what they have been achieving is based on a very complex process with fares, branded fares, fare families and stuff, which is actually not very easy to implement. So, for example, one of the airlines, they needed to sell their seats. They wanted to charge for their seats, and it took them more than a year to do the project that they could effectively ask their customers to pay for reserving a specific seat.
Wow, okay. That's long.
Costed a lot. Now, so our idea is that using our product, you can do this in a very, very short time. So we are talking like hours. You don't need years, you need hours. You can really set up products very quickly. So effectively, that means you are quick to market. And since there is already a demand for such products, that you are able to start selling much earlier, more ancillary, and hence you improve your revenue.
Yeah, because you already have the seat installed on the aircraft, right? So it's only the commercial part that is missing. Yeah, okay.
Correct. It's the commercial side of things. Now, and to add to it, what we are also saying is that the potential to increase revenue is also through dynamic pricing. So today what happens is that most of the airlines, they have to anticipate their market conditions and they have to create fares and they have to file it. And by the time the fares are up in the system, it's always taking what you have already planned. There is no dynamic option to use and create a fare which you can sell right away. Whereas the C concept, the idea is that if the offer is being prepared by the airline at the time of the request, the airline has the ability to use dynamic pricing, which means effectively taking into consideration different factors, namely number of days before departure, number of seats available still or already sold, and the price parameters. And based on the demand and based on the forecast of the last year's sale, if you put all that into an algorithm and create a dynamic price, you have the possibility to marginally improve your revenues.
I see.
You follow me?
Yes, I follow you. Now, I also realized that one of your other value proposition is to help airlines reduce their costs by at least 1 to 5%. Now, we do know that I'm sure you follow the financial performance of airlines regularly. The last quarter, the first quarter of 2017 has been very bad for the airlines, especially in North America, where we've seen significant drops compared to the previous year. The least I've seen was about 30% reduction in net profits, I'm talking about. And it went even up to 80%. In some cases, the airlines simply reported losses. So, which means that things are rapidly changing. And even though within that time frame, most of their revenues went up. So then the question is, given the fact that the revenues are going up and they're seeing significant drops in the profits, that means the costs are also going up as quickly as or even faster than the revenues. So how do you help them achieve the 1 to 5% reduction in cost?
So our primary objective with our product is basically the simplification of the internal airline processes.
Okay.
So our product is actually helping at 2-3 different levels. One, it is reducing the effort in creating your products and offers. That means today, when you have airlines which have to file hundreds to thousands of or tens of thousands of fares, basically that one particular aspect is not really needed anymore if they go on NDC and use our product.
Okay. Because go ahead.
Sorry. So similarly, it's about also the way you do product creation. So I was giving you the example of how an airline took more than 1 year to just ensure that they are able to put a price to their seats that people can buy, let's say, an aisle seat or a window seat. And we, using our product, you do it in a much shorter time and much more simpler form. So effectively you are reducing a lot of man hours which actually you would have to spend given today's processes.
I see.
Do you follow?
Yes, I'm following you. And
right.
Yeah. So, one of the questions, gentlemen, Manish and Peter, is today with all the things that happened lately, especially starting in the month of April and May, even through June, we've seen very sad incidents involving passengers, airline passengers. Now, I know that airlines are trying to increase the portion of revenues they generate through ancillary products. And also some do have ancillary fees, which are like things for charging for reservations and checked bags and things like that, which customers typically don't like. Some of them do pay them just because they have no choice. So really, the main issue that airlines are facing is really how they can improve their customer experience. So how does your product, since you're helping them to put ancillary products faster to the market, how does that take into account customer satisfaction or improving customer experience per se?
Okay. I was wondering if Peter wants to say something. Also.
Yes, please. Sorry, Peter. Sorry, Peter. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think one of the principles which actually, based on which we have done this project, is providing or displaying complete information about a product.
Okay.
So, a lot of people today have they have unpleasantness when it comes to paying, because it's not very clear what exactly did they pay the initial price for.
Exactly.
What was in that product.
Yes.
And what was not included in the product.
Exactly.
So what we have done is we try to actually show very specifically, very precisely, very clearly what is included in the price, what is possible to still buy on top and at what price,
yes,
and what is not available at all.
Okay.
That even if you want to buy, you would not get it.
Exactly.
So that's how we really distinguish every individual item as a product.
Okay.
I mean, for example, do you want to be able to cancel a ticket? For us, that's a product. To be able to cancel a ticket.
Okay.
Now, whether you want to pay it for free or whether when you cancel there will be a charge or a fee. So these are different products for us. So like this, first thing what we are doing is to educate the customer well. And secondly, we are trying to make the customer understand that there are always ways where they can buy something simple and then they can add certain ancillaries or something on top, rather than being stuck in a position where they have bought the product with all the things, maybe half of them they don't need.
Yes. Okay.
So that's one key aspect. And I think the other aspects, what we are talking about, because we have changed the way we work, and we are not creating PNRs in the classic way as it is done today, we have the possibility to utilize customer data and customer behavior before we make the offer.
Very good.
So the offer is more appropriate to the customer or the passenger asking for the offer.
Okay. So really, that's a more proactive way of managing the customization or personalization of a customer offer instead of reactively pushing down ancillary products on them. Is that a fair
Correct.
statement?
Precisely. You got it absolutely right.
Okay, very
To the
good.
extent possible, we use the information provided by the customer willingly to us, and given our pattern of customer behavior in the market segment, if you put that all together, you can do a very good prediction of what would be the most likely say, a range of products which the customer may want.
Okay. Okay. Good. Peter, I think I have a special question for you since we kind of left you out of the conversation. I was done with my questions, so I will ask you if you have any words to share before we conclude the interview. So, Peter, please go first.
Okay, I think you talked a lot around the commercial aspects.
Yes.
Apparently, that's the main case for buying our product. Now, maybe I can address some of the technology.
Okay, sure.
Applying and how our clients can benefit from that. So, one of the things we had in mind from the beginning was and is not to reinvent the wheel. So, if things exist and in many cases, things have already been invented. We want to leverage them. And as Manish explained, we borrow a lot of the e-commerce best practices. And for that reason, actually, we chose a e-commerce platform, open source e-commerce platform as an underlying technology.
Okay.
So with that, we, as well as our clients, can benefit from, I would call it, generic evolution of the e-commerce, market and trends. So we don't need to invest in things that e-commerce anyway does, right? So things like machine learning, like, I don't know, all the security aspects that come into place with more and more threats from cybersecurity. All those things are being taken care by the cloud platform that we are using and the e-commerce platform, which is cloud-based. So that gives us an advantage to move fast when it's concerned e-commerce, to embrace e-commerce trends, latest e-commerce trends. We can really focus on the specifics of the travel and transportation market. Of course, it has its very unique aspects in an e-commerce world, but still it allows us to be very focused on those aspects.
I see.
I think that's how we can bring speed to market in our development and also great value to customers. Also technologies like coin, blockchain, yes, or anything that becomes a new technology. We discuss it with the following, the roadmap of our partner that provides the e-commerce platform. And we align our travel e-commerce specific roadmap to it and make it available to travel and transport clients.
Okay. And is this like a type of software as a service type of licensing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the way we are positioned. Our solution is obtained as software as a service.
Okay.
Fully.
Okay, and now that opens up another question. Who are the current customers, airline customers that you currently serve, and which regions do you target? Is it worldwide or some specific regions only?
We are in that sense a startup, or so to say, somewhere in the middle of being a startup and being a fully functional company with customers.
Okay.
So we have started sales in the market. We have letter of intents from airlines. We are in the process of making offers to certain airlines. So we have already present in terms of understanding of the product and what people would like to have.
Okay.
Of course, we are still trying to finish the product and hence by the time we will have our first customers on board, it could be sometime beginning of 2018 as per the current plan. It might be earlier depending upon the needs of the customer, but that's the general what we're looking at.
Okay.
And for the market, we can offer it to anybody globally, but currently, given the state of affairs, we are focusing in Africa and South America and Asia.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Can add, Kofi, maybe I can add that our ideal initial customers is a startup airline.
Okay.
Which doesn't have a lot of legacy in terms of old processes,
exactly,
and old systems.
Exactly.
Very open-minded to approach the market in a new way, new innovative way, from a business process and technology aspect.
Yes, that's for sure. So then, how can prospect customers reach you if somebody, let's say, they find out or they listen to this interview and wanted to contact you? Is there a way to reach you quickly and effectively?
Well, there are mails, there is phone, there is website. I don't know what you mean by...
Okay, yeah, it's mainly... and nowadays, mainly website. So if you can share the address of your website so people can contact you.
Very easy. It's www.tc, like travel commerce, tc.solutions.
Okay, in plural.
Correct. Solutions.
Okay, so it's www.tc.solutions.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Very good.
.com needed. They're always welcome to see us in our office in Zurich. Never pass by. Very nice city of Zurich.
Yeah, for sure.
And can show them in person, face to face. What we have done so far.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions for you. Anything else you want to add? Otherwise, we can end the interview here.
No, I think we've covered fairly the fundamentals. What I believe, depending upon your readership and your question, if there is a follow-up required or a little bit, let's say, dive deeper into certain aspects of the product, then we are happy to do so.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do webinars and different forms of communication to get a level deeper.
And we can even organize a demo for you if you want to have a real look. I don't know if Andreas could show you something, but we will be happy to do a demo for you if you like. And I suppose Zoom allows also for screen share.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it does. So yeah, that's a good idea. We can always arrange like a webinar type, and you can demo that T-commerce platform. So yeah, that's something we can definitely do. Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Great.
So thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. And
thank you for your initiative.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Manish. This concludes my interview with Peter Schmid and Manish Shrivastava of Travel Commerce Solutions. Both are the co-founders of this startup based in Zurich, Switzerland. And for you, I am Kofi Sonopon, managing editor of Airline Profits magazine and author of Airlines for Business, the revolutionary book which introduces a new paradigm of the airline business. And we hope that you have found this talk interesting and informative. So we'll appreciate if you can like and share this with your friends and colleagues. And I also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our RSS feed on airlineprofits.com, and follow us on social media. That way you can be notified as soon as we have a new content posted, like Airlines and aviation news, articles, analysis and reports, as well as future executive interviews like this one. In the meantime, I would like to thank you for your time and wish you have a great day. Bye for now. Thank you.